Well, holy shit. I actually managed to do it. After procrastinating for ages, I finally managed to produce an audiobook version of the Lunatic Fringe book. It's currently available on all Amazon sites, audible.com, and shortly on iTunes. And if you're the page-turning type, it's also, of course, still available in Kindle form, paperback, and hardback on Amazon. 10 hours and 10 years worth of Blue Skies Magazine's articles, all available to you right fucking now, including a few author's notes and even an apology or two. Enjoy.
In a world.
Mate, hold up. We said we're done with the serious intros.
Who said?
Well, we did.
I don't remember that.
Well, I said it, and you're me, so, you know.
Well, I don't care. In a world.
Hey, I told you. We're keeping it light.
You do it on your own then.
Well, technically, I already am. So, anyway. Fuck yeah. Pure wild flight. Get it down ya. How good? Visit nzaerosports.com.
I get to do the next one.
Well, obviously, you moron. We both do.
Of course, I absolutely love the NZ Aerosports business model. I mean, come on. One glance at an Icarus fuck yeah sticker and you know it lines up perfectly with the fucking pilot mentality. But outside their wonderful use of colorful language and a great company vibe, there's a long list of reasons to say NZ Aerosports fuck yeah. NZ Aerosports blows me away right out of the gate as a canopy manufacturer with a bold offer. They give you 10 jumps on your brand new nylon to decide if you want to keep it, swap it out, or even return it for a refund. I mean, seriously, how incredible is that? That's like getting halfway through a prom and deciding you prefer the slightly racier date that goes down faster. Seriously, they do that. If you're not madly in love with your new canopy after 10 jumps, they'll let you swap it out for another size or model, or even get your money back. And the range of canopies they've got? Man, they've got a style canopy to fit every jumper and every situation with models you know and trust, like the Sapphire 3, the perfect choice for the beginner or intermediate canopy pilot. The Crossfire 3, when you're ready to kick it up that elliptical notch. The JFX 2, if you're looking to up your new swoop game. The Leia as the workhorse and dirtwater dirt beast. Or the Petra. The Petra cranks out crazy power and is nothing short of a record breaker. But hey, it's not always about speed either. Take the Kraken. Built as a low pack volume canopy specifically with wingsuiting in mind, she gives you all the performance you're looking for with the reliability you need that'll have you itching for that next formation, rodeo, or puffy cloud. So the equipment is top of the line kick-ass stuff as you already know, but how about the team? Well, the customer service gang is there to sort you out whenever you need them. Maddie and Beto are always there to help with Jen holding the reins. They're available for you at sales@nzaerosports.com, and they've got a kick-ass live chat tool on the website if you're wanting to hit someone up right away. These are the crew you're going to want to talk to get those custom orders in. With the stock nylon, once you know what you want, they'll have that shit on a FedEx truck as soon as the credit card machine says approved and get you in the air in no time. For your custom orders, you'll be able to get a time frame for building and shipping when you design it, so get to it. And demos. They've got demos in the US available from their partner Rock Sky Market. The whole US demo fleet is there with Sapphire 3, Crossfire 3, Kraken, JFX2, and Leia canopies in a range of sizes. They also offer student and tandem demos in the US. Bottom line, every step of the way, NZ Aerosports is there to get you what you need, and I personally couldn't be happier to be teamed up with them here on Lunatic Fringe. And now, time to get started with Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, brought to you proudly by NZ Aerosports. Fuck yeah.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go. Back in the can for another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, and both of us are on the road. I keep bouncing to different places, so thank fuck for the internet. Please tell me, who the fuck are you and what do you do?
Hey, I'm Emma, Australian, and I'm skydiving full time.
You're Emma,
on the
you're
road, living out of
Australian.
a suitcase.
Well, yeah, I mean, I keep up with you in regard to your social media feeds, and you're never in one place for very long.
No, it's been quite an eventful 12 months. I left Australia once they opened the borders. So I was trapped there for 2 years. Before that, I was traveling as much as I could. And once they opened the borders, I just went, that's it, I'm done. And I left, and I've only really been back for a couple of weeks at a time. So yeah, it's been nice. It's been kind of like living the dream at the moment.
Are you when you go back to Australia, are you like making sure you're keeping an eye on all the alerts so you can get the fuck out of there if it happens to close down?
To be honest with you, at the start, it was like that. There was definitely this fear of being trapped there again. And when I left Australia, there was no date of when the borders would open for me to go back. So it was really strange. They were open, you could leave, but they weren't open to coming in. So that was a big risk. But yeah, thankfully it was only a few months and then I could go back. Otherwise, I think my mom would be very upset.
I bet. I bet. I've got a few friends
Yeah,
that
but
are out that way.
definitely it's been stressful.
Sure. I mean, I've got a few friends that are out that way. One who jumps out in Perth, and he was telling me about the restrictions as they were getting pretty heavy. And he's like, it's insane. We can't do anything. You can't even cross the country.
Yeah, we were stuck within WA, the West Coast, yeah, for 2 years, which, to be honest with you, was okay. We could basically do anything in the state except leave. So really, you were kind of stuck in a bubble, and I could skydive and fly and everything every day. I just couldn't see any friends or family anywhere else in the world, let alone the other side of Australia, which was really strange. So yeah, you start to get a bit claustrophobic, even if you can still do what you love every day. It's
Sure.
I'm the type of person that likes to have change and be constantly on the moves. So for me, it was really difficult.
I can understand the lockdown and not letting people in, but I don't understand not letting people out. Like,
Yeah, it was strange. It was
yeah,
really strange. I think they were just worried that people would get stuck, and then ask the embassies for support, and they just couldn't, yeah,
fair enough.
provide that support or weren't sure. Yeah, it was a strange time. I honestly, it's hard to believe that it actually happened.
Right.
Thank God
Right.
it's over. So
Well, we'll skip past all the horrible shit and get into the fun stuff. So,
yeah.
how did you get started in anything extreme, and then specifically in skydiving? Where did that all start for you?
Uh, I've ridden like motocross and kind of always been an outdoor person. My dad bought me a little Pee Wee 50 with training wheels, so I could ride that before I could basically walk or ride a push bike. But skydiving, I kind of already knew about it. My parents did a skydive when I was like an early teen, and it was definitely something that I was interested in. And I got a surprise skydive for my 18th birthday, and I didn't actually realize that it was a sport. So everything that I had seen around skydiving was that it was just tandems. When I went, it was just one other tandem in the plane. We landed on the beach. There was no fun jumping. So I didn't actually realize until, my probably third or fourth tandem that it was actually a real thing, that I could do it on my own and I didn't have to keep paying this extortion amount of money to jump out of a plane. And yeah, I actually decided I was in Mexico, Puerto Escondido, and I did a tandem at sunset, and my boyfriend at the time was carving head down around me in a wingsuit, and we landed on the beach, and I was just like, that's it, like I need to do this. So yeah, I did my AFF and started in the tunnel and never looked back.
So, well, you're doing a tandem in Puerto Escondido with a wingsuit carving. Sounds like you were kind of already in it, even at that point, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because Puerto Escondido, that's kind of a skydivers know about that spot. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
iconic in that part of the world. But outside of skydiving, I don't know. Granted, I only know about it from skydiving, but that's all I know about that place is Puerto Escondido. They do some badass jumps. And you're
It's
dating a
really
guy,
well known for surfing, actually.
is it?
So
Yeah,
it's
I
a
don't
big
do that shit.
surfing town. Yeah, massive waves. Yeah.
No, you
But I went for a holiday. I just went to my boyfriend at the time, obviously, was a skydiver. We'd only been dating for a few months at that stage. And I went with a girlfriend. We just went to kind of have a holiday. And yeah, I saw more of the skydiving scene. Obviously, like you said, it's a very renowned place for skydiving, and there was so many people there. And I was like, wait, this is an actual
right.
sport. This is something that I can do every day if I want to. So much
Sure.
more than just tandems. So
So when not to dwell on your boyfriend too much at the time, but
no,
did you know anything about what he was doing until that jump? Like, did you have a concept of none at all, or all of a sudden he's just there
no, like
something insane?
yeah, like kind of like he's a base jumper as well. So there was very little, it was still like the beginning of like realizing actually what it was. Like I had been to the drop zones in Perth and kind of seen a little bit, but it's not the same like
Sure.
as a big event, like a big boogie where everyone's there. And I didn't really realize the extent to it. And I was talking more and asking more questions and realizing that there's like so many more disciplines and, like such a big process and, to get licenses and stuff. So I really started to be a little bit more intrigued and, ask more questions and figure out what actually is skydiving.
Sure, sure. Well, I mean,
So,
I suppose
yeah.
it's very easy as a non-jumper to assume that skydiving is a lot like bungee jumping. It's just an activity that somebody else is getting paid to take you on, and that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, that was all I was exposed to for like my first two or three jumps was just tandem operations, and it wasn't until I kind of started dating someone and was exposed to more of the fun jumping side of the sport that I was like, oh, actually,
Sure.
I don't have to keep doing tandems. So yeah.
So you got into your AFF, and where'd you say you did that?
I started in Perth. So when I got back from Porto, it was summer in Australia, and it's not the best time to learn, especially on the coast in Perth. It's quite windy. So I started in the tunnel. I did like an hour and a half, and then did my AFF once autumn had come around. So yeah, everything kind of started in Perth.
Now, how did the course go for you? Did you fall into it pretty easily, or were there tough parts, or was it all pretty smooth?
I was pretty confident with the flying side of things. I obviously had a fair bit of time in the tunnel, so the flying I found quite easy. It all was just a little overwhelming. I would get down and I would not remember a single thing that happened.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that happened for, maybe 20 to 30 plus jumps. I felt quite anxious in the plane as well. I remember like, mentally like having to talk myself through, being okay with jumping out of a plane. The canopy stuff, I was actually naturally pretty good at that as well. I was off the radio within like two jumps and I was freaking out like, are you sure? Like, like you've been perfect, like go for it. We're still here, but you don't need us. But canopy was probably one of the hardest parts for me, being such a light, small female, and being on such large canopies. It was always, tricky with conditions.
Sure.
The conditions can change so quickly. Like, you go up in the plane and it's totally fine, and you jump out, and then next minute there's, 20 plus knot winds and going backwards. So yeah, for sure. I think the flying side of things, I was very dedicated. So for me, was always watching videos, always training in the tunnel, and I didn't necessarily find it easy, but I was just very body aware. I'd done a lot of kind of like yoga and different running and athletics and different sports throughout growing up. So I was very body aware. So the flying definitely came naturally to me. The canopy side has always been a little bit more challenging.
Sure.
And definitely frustrating when I've had to sit out because the weather is not great. So, but unfortunately, it just is what it is. I was constantly told that, it's just one of those things for you, and it's
Sure.
always going to be something you're going to deal with. So,
Well, and starting in a place like Perth, I know can be pretty challenging from the friends of mine that have jumped there for many years, and knowing how often conditions, specifically wind, can stand down an entire operation and how quickly they can come. And it reminds me a lot of jumping in Las Vegas, because the same thing would happen in the high desert. And if you didn't get good at jumping in sketchy conditions, you didn't jump. So you're kind of forced to get better quite quickly when you find yourself in a situation where you just jumped out and it was no wind and now you're getting your ass kicked. So you get good pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. Learning how to disconnect an RSL and cut away if need be, if I'm getting dragged along the ground backwards. So
Yep.
those things that at 50 jumps, you're kind of, learning things that not most people have to deal with. So
Sure.
yeah, it's been good. Like, I'm definitely grateful for the experiences. And like you said, it makes you a better canopy pilot in a lot of ways, because, you either jump or you don't jump.
Sure.
If you don't jump in it, then you're not jumping at all. So yeah, like we can be winded out, 30 knot winds by 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's kind of it's just, it is what it is.
How'd you get past the nerves in the aircraft?
I was thinking, I think I used a lot of like meditation and like mindfulness strategies. Also just remembering how much I loved it. Like, once I got out, I was totally fine, but it was just this kind of, fear in the plane. And I just tried to focus on what I was there to do. And yeah, it's strange. Like, I look back now and I'm like, oh, there's no, like, not even a second thought. But
Right.
I definitely remember the days where I was like, what am I doing? Like, and then I'm like, yeah, but I really like this. That's why I'm here, And so it's just that.
Well,
And I think we all experience that in life. There's lots of times where I've had that going to a job interview, and it's that same feeling, where you're like, oh my God, why am I here? But you really want the job or whatever it is, So it's just, I think I remembered, that it was just a life experience. And it was just like, if you want to do this, then you've got to overcome this fear. And that you love it once you're in the air and once you're in the canopy. So it's just like getting out the door.
Skydivers can be so weird like that, because you're right. I mean, I was the same way. I had a place on the highway that I could turn around and not feel bad about myself. But I drove past that point, I had to get on the plane, and you're in the plane just going, why the fuck am I doing this? And where most people would freak out is leaving the airplane. And that's where a real skydiver gets relief. Once they're out of the plane, all the worries go away. And that's where people that don't jump are like, fuck you. That's where I'm scared. So it's really weird how we're wired like that. I mean, and you're just kicking your ass going, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is just stupid.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, but there's something addictive about it, and yeah, it's fun, and I found it very meditative, like getting out, and nothing else mattered. Like, there was nothing else I was thinking about, but I was so present in that moment, and I really craved that, so, and just the friendships and the
it turns the volume down on everything else dramatically. Like, nothing else matters quite as much. That buzz.
No, exactly. And
it can last quite a while too. I mean, I would maybe get one or two jumps in a week, but that whole week I was pretty chill. After a week, you start getting edgy again. So,
Yeah, no, exactly,
what
exactly.
what did the family think of your starting skydiving?
My family have always been super supportive. They don't necessarily understand it, but we're a very close family. Everybody knows everything, and we share a lot. And they definitely know what type of person I am. I'm a little bit more outside of the box and going against the grain, and I can't sit still. So I don't think it was a surprise. But yeah, they definitely don't necessarily want to do it themselves. But they are supporting me 100%, and they see how happy it makes me, and see what I get out of it. So yeah, they're all for it.
Nice, nice. Now, was there a plan before skydiving? Like, was there something you were going to be when you grew up before you jumped?
I I was a proper adult. I'm actually a school teacher. So I
Seriously?
have been working, yeah, I've been working in education for 15 years. And I love it. I love teaching. I love helping people grow and develop. And it's yeah, that was my dream job, and I was doing it. So yeah, I was full adult, houses and pets and all the things. But yeah, so skydiving just absolutely derailed the life that I was on, the path that I was on. So
It can do that, right? I mean, I've
yeah.
talked to so many different people that had all these high-powered careers and have done these amazing things and proper PhDs and people on their way to being full-blown doctors or, right on Wall Street, and they got bit by the bug, and next thing you know, they're living in a trailer behind the tiki bar just trying to crank out the jumps.
Yeah, that was basically me. Yeah, I had two businesses, sold those, and have been, yeah, trying to take as much leave as possible from my teaching full-time job to pursue. I mean, I still obviously am in education. I'm teaching every day, but now I get to do what I love, which is teaching, and also what I love, skydiving every day. So I feel very lucky to have been able to incorporate that. But I honestly never thought I would be teaching skydiving. I always said I wouldn't. Like, this is my hobby. Like, I'm not going to mix the two. Um, but I just fell into it. It just developed and it just happened. And here I am. I'm like, how did this happen?
How did it
Um,
happen for you? I
but
mean,
I guess,
was there a conscious decision where you said, "All right, this is it. I'm going to go 110% in this," or did you just get corralled into coaching and then it kind of creeped up on you?
yeah, it kind of just developed naturally. You know, I actually, most of my skydives before I started coaching were just two ways. I loved two ways, and then you find yourself being one of the more experienced people, and leading others and getting asked questions at the drop zone. And in Australia, we have different ratings. So, like, sub licenses to free fly. So, if you want to fly head up or head down, you need to have it's called a crest. So, it's like a sub license. And to obtain that, you need to be signed off by a free fly coach. And there wasn't really many free fly coaches, and there was lots of my friends and people I knew that wanted to get this rating, and obviously I wanted to fly with as many people as possible. So I ended up getting this free fly coach rating, and then it just kind of took off from there. And then a lot of people were watching my flying on Instagram, and I had some people ask me to coach them and to come and do some events actually in Dubai. And that's sort of really where it started to take off more internationally. And before that, obviously, I was stuck in Australia anyway. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. It was definitely not planned and just kind of naturally grew, which is nice.
Well, and I mean, really, when you think about it, the fact that you can segue jumping out of airplanes into a career that takes you around the world is pretty fucking cool.
And that kind of when I looked at it, like once it was developing like that, and it kind of like when I got to Dubai and I started getting asked more and more to coach, I had actually planned to only be into Dubai for a couple of, actually like a month. And then I was heading over to South America. But I just kept getting booked out and asked, and I was like, wow, hang on a minute. Like, I can really like do what I love every day and travel as much as I want. And yeah, it's just, I kind of had that realization then. I was like, oh, wow, like this is exactly kind of what I want. I want to travel. I've always been wanting to see as much as the world as possible and can't really sit still. And then getting to skydive every day is a bonus as well. And getting to teach and be a part of people's learning journey is, really special. So.
Sure. How much did your experience with education help in transitioning to teaching skydivers?
I think a lot. I think there's a big difference between being a good flyer and being a good coach or teacher. They're two completely different skills. Just because you're a good flyer doesn't mean that you can coach or that you understand how people learn and how to deliver the education. So for me, like I could see it from a different point of view than I think most people do. And maybe that's why I progressed as quickly as I did, because I could put on my teaching hat and go, okay, how would I like, how would I teach this? How can this be taught and learned in a different way, or the quickest way? Sure. Like, what is this person trying to explain to me?
Well, and it's
so yeah, I think
it's a psychology game with each student, though, too, right? Because you've got to
100%.
read that student and figure out what way is going to get that information into their head where it sticks. Because I don't know anybody that learns the same way. Everyone has their little tweaks that you need to be able to read and apply. And it can be a much more of a challenge than the actual jumping.
100%. And a lot of the time, I meet someone for the first time, the morning of, and maybe we do like 6 to 8 jumps, and you're really on the fly, like trying to figure out who they are, and everyone's goals are different too. Like, they don't necessarily want to be the best flyer. Like they just want to be able to fly with their friends safely or whatever it is. So, finding out what their purpose is and what they want to achieve, and then, starting to kind of figure out how they learn and take things in. And yeah, it's difficult. You're doing this within the space of a few hours and such a short amount of time with that person. So yeah, it's a challenge. I quite enjoy it. And the psychology behind it is crazy. And even like for my own development, I know like I'm very hard on myself, but that motivates me as well. But yeah, I feel like the less pressure and expectations you can put on yourself once you go to that moment of learning, the better. Before that, when you're, debriefing, I'm quite hard on myself, and I obviously want to, improve and be better. But I think like once you get to that moment, either you're getting in the tunnel or going for a skydive, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to have fun. And if I achieve what I want to achieve, then that's great. And if I don't, it's all good. It's always tomorrow. So
sure,
definitely, I think the key is like the mental side of it, and being in tune with how you are mentally.
Oh yeah,
big part of learning.
The big challenges and the big upsides to instructing were getting really good at playing what I like to call 60-second psychologist. You've got to, as a longtime tandem instructor, I've got to read this person in about a minute or two and figure out how I'm going to keep this person calm and not kill me. And then AFF side of things, the huge benefit was finding out how much I was learning because I was having to break things down in a much more simplified manner to somebody that doesn't have a clue what I'm talking about. And you learn so much more about your own flying and what you're doing, which are things that we never usually think about. I mean, when's the last time somebody explained clearly and concisely how to make a 360? It's very difficult. You know, you have to break it
Yeah.
down. It makes
Yeah.
sense to somebody that doesn't have any base for that. So that can be a lot of fun too.
No, 100%. And that's the thing. It's like being a good learner and being a good teacher are two different things. And yeah, putting on the teaching hat and thinking like how did I learn this, or how can I explain this in a way that this person's going to understand. And then you bring in obviously we're a very multicultural sport, so there's a lot of times where I'm having to teach people who English is like their third or fourth language. So having visual things to help that, and I like to have little dolls that I use and videos and things. But yeah, it's a challenge, and I really enjoy it.
The language barrier is something that a lot of jumpers don't take into consideration, because what you're doing is kind of even outside the norm for a lot of skydivers, in that you're traveling all around the world. And then you go to some place like Dubai, where every culture comes to Dubai, and you're going to meet someone from literally every corner of the planet at that desert drop zone. And you've got to be good at communicating without necessarily having a proper conversation. And that's a whole new talent.
Exactly. And maybe that person isn't necessarily a visual learner either. So, there's a challenge in itself. So yeah, it's you're right. Dubai is a mecca for everyone to come and skydive, and there's so many different nationalities here, which is pretty special. But yeah, it's definitely one challenge with coaching and skydiving, and like you said, everyone learns differently. So we just got to take it day by day and person by person. And I just think if, it's all about remembering like why you're here. Like, what's the purpose of, being here? We all love this sport and we want to have fun. So at the end of the day, it's trying not to make it too serious, and just trying to get a smile on my students' faces.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's the big thing, right? Because we've all seen the slightly worn out, kind of bitter AFF instructor that gets mad at their students because their students can't do something that they've never done before that they consider simple. And that was always the thing for me, is I can't get mad at somebody for not being able to do something they don't know how to do. That's what I'm here to teach them for. And that's when it's time to take a step back and go, oh, wait a second. So it's good that you're it sounds like you're constantly checking yourself and making sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
For sure. And I think obviously maybe I have a little bit more experience and patience. I've worked with children for quite a long time. And you're literally teaching them. I mean, what's harder? I get asked all the time, what's harder? The kids are us, and the adults. And I'm like, honestly, the adults, it's like herding cats sometimes. I'm like, do you guys want to be here? Do you want to skydive? But like you said, we have a short attention span, and it's just pretty funny. But yeah, I think my patience is a bit I don't know. I haven't been doing it for as long as most, but my patience is definitely a lot stronger than maybe most people.
Yeah, I mean, once you've been in it a few years, the patience starts to wear down a little bit. I actually, my patience started to erode quite quickly once I was flying the plane and not jumping. Because when you're sitting up front, it's very black and white. I'm supposed to go up and down really fast, and the only thing that's slowing that down is the fucking cats that won't get in the back of the goddamn plane. So it's very easy that way. So my patience went out the window by like year 2 of flying. But in jumping, I think as soon as you get out of the airplane and you have a student that finally figures out how to do something that they didn't know how to do, that light bulb coming on above their head is so infectious to watch someone the moment they realize they know how to fly. Man, that'll keep you in it forever.
Yeah, it's so rewarding, like being a part of education and like someone's journey, learning journey is just so special and rewarding. So for me, like that's what I get out of it. Is really just helping other people, and like who doesn't want to have, all of their friends and other people being able to be amazing skydivers and we can go on like lots of big, technical jumps together. So like that's my goal is like making people as skilled and as happy as possible so
Oh
we
yeah.
can all skydive together.
Absolutely. Well, and then there's people like me who always enjoyed being the worst one in the formation because
Yeah, for sure.
I'm always jumping with people that I'm going to learn from. And when I started jumping again pretty actively in Dubai, I mean, holy shit, talk about the talent that there was to choose from. And I've got the opportunity to jump with people that I never would think I was going to be skydiving with. And of course, I suck compared to these people. And that's the fun part. I like not knowing what the hell's going on. It's fun.
No, 100%. Like you always want to be the worst in the best group. It's nice, but it's nice to be on the other end as well. It's nice to be able to share that knowledge that you've learned. And then it's also, for me, it's really important to keep growing myself, my own flying and, keep up with, the different ways of teaching. It's nice to hear other coaches and how they explain things and how they lead different lines. So I think, for me, I will never stop learning and I will never stop participating. I said from the start, skydiving is my hobby and it was never intentionally going to be my job. So I will always make time for me. And I think that's really important for everyone, otherwise, what's the point of doing it?
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you find
You can't give away all of yourself.
yeah, yeah. Now, when you're doing all this coaching and stuff, that back when I started, there was no such thing as a coach rating. This has come about over the last 10 or 15 years that coaching has really become very important. But that also means that there's a lot of competition out there. And there's also a lot of female competition out there. I mean, there's a lot of badass female flyers that are doing incredible things and sharing that knowledge. So do you find that you're in competition for the work, or does it just kind of come to you?
Personally, I don't see it as competition. I feel like uh, there's so much that everyone can give. And I know obviously there's only so many skydivers and so much work out there, but I just try and focus on what I'm doing and I try not to focus too much on what other people are doing in terms of like getting work. Yeah, just trying to stay my authentic self and I've personally like haven't found it too difficult for sure. I think now that everyone's moving again, less COVID restrictions, there's more events and more people, getting into coaching. But, I think the more educated we can be, the safer our sport's going to be, the more high level of flyers there will be. So, no, bring it on. I don't think, having too many coaches is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. And like I said, I love to learn from other people and you know, there's something to learn from everyone. Everyone has, a journey and an opinion and a different way of doing things. And whether it's you like it or you don't like it, it's still, good information because one day maybe one of your students might find it useful. So yeah, like for me, I think especially women, like I think we need more females in the sport. We need more females in leadership positions. It's a boys' club, and it's time that we even the playing field. But yeah, no, for me personally, it's been like a nice journey so far, and I've always found everyone to be very supportive
Well,
for the most part. Um,
well,
yeah,
one of the huge benefits I think to having a variety of coaches is not every coach fits every student. And I'm sure you have as well, students
exactly.
where you start out and for whatever reason your teaching style just doesn't match that student, but there's an instructor two doors down who's going to nail it. And I learned very, very early not to take it personally if the way that I presented something just didn't come across, because I also would gel with students that another instructor couldn't figure out. So in that, for the students, it's an incredible benefit, because let's face it, if you're really going to learn, you've got to have a real rapport with your coach or your instructor. It's critical. Now,
No, I 100% agree with that. And I'm always saying to my students, like, you should, try and coach with, maybe not do a different coach every day, but, try and coach with different people, because everyone has something different to offer. And you'll find the people that you learn best from, and then you can go back to them.
sure.
But yeah, for sure, I've had some students where I'm like, oh, this is just not a good fit, and that's okay, and you do your best, and yeah, it is what it is.
The biggest place that I found that apparent for myself personally was in the wind tunnel. I started out as a wind tunnel brat back in the way back in Flyaway, before there were any modern tunnels, and found out after I had gone to Dubai quite quickly that all my tunnel time did not transition into a modern tunnel at all. Just meant jack shit. And I would go through a few different instructors, and I found it difficult to find instructors that I gelled with, because as a tunnel instructor, you guys nowadays have a lot of restrictions on how you have to fly your students that I didn't have back when I was an instructor. And to find an instructor that would give me the wind that I needed to fly a bit more, to make the mistakes, trusting that I know how to cork out without hurting myself and all that, was tough. And actually, one of the best is a guy I'm sure you know very well, which is Omar Mohammed. He was just on the podcast. He was fantastic, because he'd let him turn the wind up and let me screw it up and fix it. And that's personally how I learned. So that was where it was most apparent. And you do tunnel coaching, a lot of tunnel coaching as well, don't you?
I don't do too much tunnel coaching. No, I kind of just started. But I fly a lot in the tunnel personally. It's kind of more my place that I can go and develop. But I know exactly what you're saying, and I think it's just unfortunately more corporate politics that affect those sort of things. But yeah, I agree though. Sometimes you do just need to be given the space and the freedom to figure it out. Like we said, everyone learns differently. So,
well, and I get it, and I understand the policies from the modern tunnels. I mean, we're talking about multi-million-dollar businesses that can't risk, some idiot like me bending themselves and potentially either trying to bring a lawsuit, or just bad enough, just the bad reputation that you can get for breaking students. So I get it. I completely understand it. It can't be like the days it was when I was an instructor in Flyaway, where we would try and sail people up to the top net, just burbling them and doing all kinds of crazy shit that now is just way over the top.
There's no way.
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, I remember when the modern tunnels came out and they were saying wall to wall air, and all of us Flyaway guys are like, what? That's not fucking possible. Well, we were wrong. So, do you see? Is there any competition in your blood? Is it more about instruction and just self growth, or are you looking to go out and kick some ass?
I definitely see competition in the future. It's not, honestly, I don't enjoy competing. I enjoy training. So for me, it would be just about the training aspect. Maybe one day I will like competing. I've competed a little bit in the tunnel, and a couple of times in the sky, just nationally, like domestically in Australia. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever love it. I'm definitely going to do it. I like a challenge, and it's something. If something is scary to me, like I'm fearful of it, or if it's something that I'm struggling with, then it's kind of, I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm like, all right, you will not conquer me. I will not let you win. So yeah, it's definitely like a fear that I want to overcome. And I think that's just the mental side of things. So yeah, once I can let go of the expectations and enjoy the journey,
Sure.
then yeah.
What would be your
But yeah, let's see. I
what would
do
be
either
your
free fly or freestyle.
nice?
Yeah, either free fly or freestyle. I think either one. I've like the past year actually I've been talking and trying to find some teammates, and yeah, there's definitely potential on the horizon. So yeah, let's see.
Nice. Got a little scoop there, did we? That's cool. So, especially with as much of your background being dealing with students and coaching and all that, one of the groups that I work with quite a lot is a Facebook group called the Beginner Skydiving Forum. And believe it or not, there's actually more members on that group than there are USPA members. I think there's 52,000
Nice.
members on this page. And a lot of people they seem to be floundering a little bit on how to get started and how to kind of focus themselves. And so I always ask people, especially instructors and coaches, what kind of tips and tricks and advice they give to either people that are thinking about jumping or newer jumpers looking for a bit of direction.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming. I remember, when I first started, and there was just so many disciplines and so many opinions and so many different ways of doing things. Do you do the tunnel? Do you not do the tunnel? But yeah, I think they really like my advice is just to like think about why you're doing it. Like, what is the purpose? Do you want to compete? Do you want to just do, it with friends? Is it just a weekend thing? Is it an everyday thing? Do you want to work in it? And once you kind of have a bit of a purpose, then you can find that direction. And I think like just take it day by day, like break your goals down. I think the biggest thing that I find with students is, they have less than 100 jumps and they're like, why can't I fly head down? And I'm like, you're a baby. Like, you cannot walk right now. You're, you can barely crawl. So I think it's like, enjoy the journey, kind of like be present, and yeah, remember how far you've come. And we've all been there, we've all been on the same journey, frustrated, and like, yeah, wanting to obviously be better. So, but yeah, I think the first thing is just like find your purpose, your goal, and then enjoy the journey. Just
Sure.
take it day by day.
It's funny how perspective changes, because I remember, especially when I started, God, 27 years ago, somebody with a couple hundred jumps or, oh my God, 1,000 jumps, that person was a fucking god. Like you couldn't conceive of 1,000 skydives was just too past a reality. You just couldn't cope with it. And now somebody with hits their 10,000th and then you're like, yeah, congrats, man. That's cool. It's just that's
Yeah.
I think has changed over the years too, is jump numbers come so much faster, or at least they seem to come so much faster to people, because the people that are really motivated find themselves in positions either like you or gravitate towards operations where they can really jump their asses off. And I mean, man, oh man, I mean, 20, 30,000 jumps is not unheard of anymore. So you talk to that person that's pissed at 100 jumps, but that person with 100 jumps in 5 hours of tunnel is probably going to outfly me, and I got 12,000 jumps. So skill levels gone
Yeah,
up
this
too.
is it.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And I think that's the other thing, like another piece of advice, and what I try to live by is just like focus on yourself, like where are you at and what do you want, and don't worry about anyone else. Everyone's on their own journey and you can't compare. So yeah, whether you've got 10,000 or 100 jumps, it doesn't really matter as long as you're having fun.
Absolutely. That was one of the luckiest things that ever happened to me in the sport. Was I learned quite early that I had almost no expectations for it, and I was just having a good time, and I never needed to be the best of anything in skydiving, just as long as I was safe and enjoying myself and safe with everybody else. So I was lucky in that respect.
Yeah,
Competitions,
that's an awesome place to be.
yeah, Yeah, it was just for fun.
Yeah.
I never had to be the top of the charts, and I've said it a billion times on the podcast. Nobody ever wanted to watch me swoop a canopy or do anything like that. So, what's
Yeah.
on the
No,
calendar?
it's sometimes,
Oh, please,
sorry.
please go ahead.
No, it's just like sometimes you forget, and it's easy to be overwhelmed, and especially now with social media, and
Oh,
um there's so much to compare, and yeah, it's easy to lose sight of like your own goals and purpose, and
sure.
not get disheartened.
Actually, you bring up a good point because I know you've got a pretty decent social media presence. And I've seen a lot of your jumping and stuff on social media. What do you think social media, how do you think it's impacting the sport? Because it definitely is.
Yeah, it's impacting it greatly. I think the possibilities uh, are huge, and just being able to see what everyone is doing. It's kind of, I think, um, fast tracking progression. People are exposed to, um, yeah, so many different things that they might not necessarily have seen in the past, and it's kind of um, almost like a tit for tat. It's like, okay, they did this, I'm going to try it this way, and I feel like it's really like um, we're being more innovative, because maybe for a few years it got a bit stale where there wasn't many new things happening, and now it just seems like there's like something new happening every week, and I'm like, what, like, how did you even think of that? Which is really cool. And maybe that's because, like you said, there are so many people now that do have like 10,000, 20,000 skydives. The experience level, people are staying in skydiving, and it's growing. It's becoming, uh, I don't know, like an older sport.
It's
I guess
established now.
it's
It's
more established. Like, yeah, it's more established. It's not. Um, yeah, but we're still being innovative. Like,
yeah.
there's still new things happening every day. But yeah, it's we used to watch, the YouTube videos of wingsuit proxy flying, and now it's you open Instagram and you see 20 different, XRW proxy flying down a mountain.
I know it. I
So
know. Some of the stuff I just watched a clip of Danny Roman maybe a month ago, swooping, buzzing a landing area,
yes,
a wingsuit, flaring and turning around and landing on that. I mean, fuck me. And Danny's a bad,
yeah, I know.
but I,
Absolute
I think that
badass.
was my response on his video as I posted. Danny? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, but this is what it feels like to me. It feels like, because we're seeing what everyone's doing, it's kind of like motivating other people to do more. And
Sure.
yeah, it's pushing the sport, both sports, skydiving and base jumping, in, different directions that I
It,
don't think would be the case if we weren't,
oh,
seeing everything on social media every day.
undoubtedly, undoubtedly. Although I do, especially when it comes to base jumping, I think it's a double-edged sword because it's
100%.
absolutely pushing the progression, but it's also pushing people to do some stupid shit they're not qualified for. Well, in
Yeah.
both sports. In
Yeah.
both sports.
In both sports. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
No, for sure.
and we don't need to get into that too much, but it's a shame because you've got people following the lead of people like Danny who are extremely experienced and at the top of their game, and then you've got some guy that just figured out how not to die on a wingsuit trying to reach thing, and
Yeah. Yeah. And
it
this is it. There's pros and cons, there's good sides of the education, and people can uh there's positive things in it that people are learning, and then there's maybe negative things that people are probably trying things that they're not ready for, and
yeah,
this false sense of, because they make it look so easy, like you said.
Yeah.
fucking badasses, making it look so easy. And maybe there's, a lack of education, or people don't realize the experience level. Like, I know for me, like, I wasn't really a big fan girl. Like, I didn't really know much about the history of skydiving, or like who was who, or yeah. And I met a lot of people early on, and I didn't realize till like maybe a year or so later, and I was like, oh, that person is actually a big deal.
Yep. Yeah.
um so yeah, people probably don't realize the experience level that some people have. Like you said, Danny's a badass, and don't try this at home, kids should probably be put at the beginning of his videos.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with that is know thyself, right? I mean, realize
Yes,
that
yes,
you're not at that level. You can get to that level, but there's a progression, and it's funny
yeah.
that you say the history of skydiving. It was never more apparent to me than it was in Dubai, actually out on the desert campus. And this was the first or second year that I was out there, and I was having a conversation with Olaf Zipser, and one of the younger fun jumpers was standing there kind of listening in and chatting back and forth, and Olaf walks away, and the fun jumper was like, oh, he's pretty cool, who is that? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, that's like asking who Bill Booth is. I was
Yeah.
horrified. I'm like, how can you
But
not
you
know?
don't know what you don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
don't,
know, but me
what you've been exposed to.
as an old fucker in the sport, I grew up watching Olav and trying to imitate him and Omar Al Hijalan and all these rock stars. And
Yeah.
so to have somebody go, who's the old gray haired guy? He was kind of cool. I'm like, oh fuck no, that's Olav. And
I
then
would have been that person. I would have been that person. Yeah, I was terrible. I had no idea. Like I said, I didn't know skydiving was a thing. So
sure,
for me, it was like it developed as I started skydiving. And then
sure.
even now, like I still have moments where I'm like, who's that? And people are like, are you serious?
Well, and I'm sure the other thing that you'll agree with that's the coolest thing about skydiving is it's so inclusive in that even if you know
100%.
who those people are, I have yet to meet a jumper of Olav's caliber these days that isn't happy to give a little bit of time to sit and chat with people or give a tip or a little bit of advice. I mean, it's incredible who you get to rub shoulders with in this sport. I mean, for lack of a better word, heroes in the sport that no one outside of skydiving will ever know who they are. But to us, I mean, they're fucking rock stars, but they're also friends, which is so cool.
Yeah, exactly. We're very lucky, to have so much experience and so many humble people, like you said, like willing to share. And yeah, it's beautiful. That's one of my favorite parts of skydiving,
Yeah, yeah.
just
Well,
the people.
I talked to a friend who had recently hung up skydiving for his kids. He's like, something, for me right now, the juice isn't worth the squeeze with the kids, so I'm going to hang it up for a while. And my response to him was, even if you never pick up another rig, you're a skydiver for the rest of your life. You're in the community,
Yeah.
you're one of us. And that's really cool to know, especially for somebody like me getting towards the end of the career where I'm not going to do nearly the jumping that I did, but to know that I'll always be a part of that community is really amazing.
Yeah, it's special. Like friends, it's weird I've never been a part of a community like this. And I've, like I said, done lots of different sports throughout my childhood and into my adulthood. And it's so unique. It's so like
Sure.
everyone is just so welcoming and, um, yeah, it's just crazy to think that all of us misfits are in this together. And
Yeah, you've got a sofa anywhere in the world, which is pretty cool.
literally,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the coolest thing. And people you've never met, even, and that's also another crazy thing with social media. Like I have people contacting me, and you almost create these friendships with people that you've never met, and then you go meet them somewhere, you actually meet them face to face, and it's like you've known each other forever, and you've
yep.
never actually met, and that's really special as well. That I guess social media allows for that.
Yeah, for all its downsides, social media keeps Scott Evers connected in a way that I don't think it does for a lot of communities. And for as much as I'll bitch and moan about Facebook or Instagram, I have been able to maintain friendships much closer than I ever would have, and kept in touch with people that I never would have seen again, simply because of it. So for that, I can never bitch too much about social media because it keeps me connected.
For sure, for sure. And it, like we said, there's pros and cons, but I think for the most part, there's a lot of good.
Oh yeah. So what's on the calendar is as we're through or into January and coming up on the season? Where are you going to be off to?
So I'm still in Dubai. Be here for another week, and then I'm heading back to Australia for a few months to do some family things. I've been avoiding that for a little bit. My brother just had twins, so first time auntie. So yeah, go and spend some time with the family, and then yeah, Europe and America, and probably back to Dubai. So it's all kind of starting to come together. Different events in Europe and America are being planned right now. So yeah, let's see.
Nice. So for people that want coaching from you, or they just want to come up and say hello, how are they going to track you on social media? How are you going to post your events and calendars and stuff? Where do people go?
Yeah, so I keep most people updated on Instagram. My Instagram is _EMYVO_ Emivo. And yeah, most of the things that I'm doing are on there. And yeah, you can message me on there if you want to fly with me.
Awesome. Well, I know you just finished jumping too, so I thank you very much for taking the time to decompress by sitting in a little room in front of a computer for an hour.
No worries. Yeah, it's hard to sit still for this long, but you're worth it.
That's why I keep them at about an hour, because that's about all we can have, right? Well,
Yeah.
I thank you so much for the time. It was a blast catching up to you. I'm looking forward to seeing what potential competition and team stuff might be in your future, and to see where it all goes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You take care.
And there you have it. Another episode of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, brought to you as always by, and say it with me, fuck yeah, NZ Aerosports. Head to nzaerosports.com. By Pussfoot. That's right, head to pussfoot.com, the extreme sports collective, and check out everything they've got to offer. By summitparachutesystems.com. Jarrett Martin and the family cranking out amazing pilot rigs, as well as incredible rigging courses. And now joining the Lunatic team, it's the one and only Tony Suits. You know him, you love him. Head to tonysuit.com. Check out all the amazing standards, as well as the new incredible signature line they've got going on. And as for us, the Lunatic Fringe is now on YouTube. That's right, you're going to have the chance to put faces to the audio by heading to youtube.com and looking up the Lunatic Fringe podcast. It's easy. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out all the amazing videos from the previous guests that we've had, as well as new and upcoming interviews on video. As always, I am the fucking pilot. Head to thefuckingpilot.net or theprincesspilot.com. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time around.
Jam.